Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vero, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
This is episode 223, believe it or not. 223. Let that settle in. Yes, 223 episodes of our podcast. And today, we are talking about the importance of sleep, which is maybe the last thing on our list when we think about self-care and self-preservation and taking care of ourselves. The last thing on our list is probably sleep. But before we get into it, because Ceci and myself have already been talking about it off record, we're going to go on record now. But before we go into that, let's check in. We're coming back from an awesome weekend that we just had our brunch, our breakthrough brunch. So let's do a quick check-in. ¿Cómo se encuentran, muchachonas?
Great. It's funny because I remember last year's brunch, no había dormido yo nada. I was a mess at last year's brunch. Dolor de cabeza, tired, hot. This year's brunch, I was ready. I was excited, not proud of this, but I had the Red Bull in the morning, popped 2 aspirin because I was like, I'm not going to have a headache today because I wasn't going to have coffee. But I feel good. I'm ready to rock. But yeah, sleep's important. We're not crazy people that live on Red Bulls and aspirin. That's not usual.
Yo estoy súper cansada, which is why we started talking about this off air. We were talking about it in nuestro little WhatsApp chat de las tres, and then we were talking about it off air. So we're like, you know what? This is a good topic. So, cansadita, pero excited. Last weekend that...
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no, I remember clicking record. Anyway.
Did it stop?
Maybe we meant to. We can start over. We can remember what we said.
Yeah, we can remember what we said.
We just spent 30 minutes recording a podcast, and it was just us listening to each other. But you know what? We love each other. We're going to say it all over again.
We're going to say it all over.
You are freaking kidding me. So welcome back.
Yeah. And of course, it happens when we're talking about the importance of sleep, and we're all talking about how it's been a crazy last couple of days. Of course.
Okay, so let's pick
it away.
up there. This is episode 223, and that's 223 nights of no sleep. Just kidding. But we are talking about the importance of sleep, and we just went off on 30 minutes, like the girl said, talking about what we do for sleep, what we don't do, what's happening. So that was a great 30-minute conversation that hopefully now we can talk about it again. So I was about to be vulnerable and say how maybe this is part of it, the sleep part. I could have sworn I hit record and then I was like, welcome. So I was about to say how it is rough to try to plan out in the sense my rest time, because for me, it's okay, do this. Kids go to bed at 8, and then usually by 8 and 9, you start the routine around 7:45, and then they're brushing their teeth at 8:15, and then they're in bed by 8:30, and they don't fall asleep till 9. And then it's oh, my hour that I thought I had for myself to do whatever I wanted to wind down, then is out the window because one of them doesn't want to go to sleep or the other one keeps getting up, and you're like, what the hell, man? So then I have caught myself, pushing my sleep time later and later because I'm oh, no cené, or no, me tengo hambre. So then, we were talking about having that late meal, and I'm so I end up having a meal way late, and then I'm you know what, while it's digesting, let me do some work, or let me read, or let me write some notes for tomorrow. And then it's 1 a.m, and I'm oh shoot, I just can't keep doing that. So let me talk about how in the beginning, now that we had 2 conversations not recorded, you guys, now we had 2 conversations, one before we hit record the first time, and then the second one when we thought we hit record, and then here we go. So before we move on to that and the importance of sleep, I think I've had 2 nights in this week that I slept more than 7.5 hours. It was 1 night of 7 hours and 46 minutes, the other night of 7.5 hours. And when I saw it on my watch and it said, wow, congratulations, you slept this much, my body did not feel rested. My mind did not feel rested. I felt like I got hit by a car, got run over by a bus, and then here I am trying to take the day, conquer the day. So I really don't know where to go with this anymore because I feel that we had shared it before. And I think that, I was asking you ladies, I asked ladies, when we think about self-care, the last thing on our list, and I think none of us actually included on there outside of eating and exercising and maybe putting time for myself to, do the things that I like. And I don't think any of us really add sleep on there. and how important sleep is. So I had asked you, Ceci and Irene, is that something that has made it on your self-care list to sleep more, sleep better, and how to do it?
This is so funny. Maybe our answers are going to be even better, Ceci, since we're saying it again. But
I know.
yeah, sleep is not on my list. I should remember to put that on my list. I was sharing with you all that I'm a napper to sort of make up for bad sleep patterns. I'm not a heavy sleeper. So anything will wake me up and throw me off. And then we talked about, and I'll let you ask that question. See, now we're all discombobulated. Maybe we needed to sleep if we were going to forget to press record.
We should record the podcast episode and put the mic near us, and then I'll go take a nap a ver qué ruidos hacemos, and then like if something comes up, then we'll
No,
chime
si
in.
andas bien pedorra, mejor no.
No, but we were talking about how we're all right now in this season of like, maybe we've never been good sleepers. Maybe it's what's going on right now in our lives, but I don't put sleep on my list, but I do put rest on my list, and I try to rest and recover. I try to not fill my calendar with so much. I do like to nap, but I do also like to spend time on my own. I talked about how I'm a people watcher. So if that's like time at a cafe or time at a restaurant, I mentioned how I went to the mall the other day by myself and ate by myself at the food court, something I haven't done in years or probably ever. And my husband was super pumped that I had like stepped away and just done my own thing. And I was like returning things to Kohl's and just spending time away. And funny enough, for me, that feels like rest because I have so much going on, so many things in my schedule that I like to just carve out time that isn't like input or something that feels taxing or overwhelming. And I was telling you girls how I want to model that for my clients too, because I tell them to have boundaries and to step away and to, think of themselves first and ask for help and not just be all about the kids and their schedule or the husbands or your boss. So I try to do that too. I try to have a lot of time where I put in my calendar time to just not have a lot of input, just little breaks here and there. And so today was an example of that. After this, I have a break between this and then mom duties with my son's track and field and cross country. So rest is interesting. It's different for all of us. And we'll talk about like the ways in which we help ourselves get better sleep. But I'm trying, y'all. Vero was saying earlier, like she's going to be vulnerable and things are all over the place. Like I'm trying too. I know that I'm not a good sleeper. So I try. I freaking try. But it's not my thing.
Well, we started kind of doing a little check-in and how we were sharing that we were all tired, and we started this conversation because we started it on the WhatsApp group chat that we have, and I shared that the past 2 nights have been crazy. I haven't slept at all. And so we said, hey, let's talk about the importance of sleep. And then we did a check-in. We said, hey, we just had a fabulous weekend with the what is it called? The brunch, the breakthrough brunch. And I flew down to Southern California, and it was cool, and it was fun. Está haciendo un pinche calorón, but it was cool. So we went from there, and I think, Vero, you were asking, like, do we write it down? No, we don't. And it's important, and it's like, if we don't get that sleep, yo en particular me siento como like a zombie just going around. And yesterday I was taking these supplements to kind of make up for, there's the eyes twitching again, but to make up for the fact that I hadn't slept the previous night. And the previous night I was reading a book that perhaps the topic was inappropriate for bedtime, because it got me thinking, it wired me up. And so yesterday I was taking these supplements to give me energy, and it's clean, energy, pero a la vez, maybe I took something that was too late in the day that just kept me going for the rest of the night, because again, otra vez no pude dormir, and it was horrible this morning. If I would have, gotten up even at my usual time, I was awake. I was awake at 5:30. But I wanted to stay in bed. Usually I wake up at 5:30 and I exercise, and then I go on with my day. And if I would have done it, I would have felt better, I think, and more energized and more clear-headed to do the tasks that I need to do today. Pero me puse a limpiar mi cocina, and I think that helped this morning, doing something that was physical. And then the other thing that we were saying, the other thing that I shared earlier was that within the Guilt-Free Squad, we started a last 90 days of the year spreadsheet to kind of hold ourselves accountable, but do it as a group. We're doing it as a group. Lo estamos haciendo juntas. Things that we want to accomplish, right, by the end of the year, or things that we want to work on, for the last 3 months of the year. And I wrote on there, amongst, reading a book and trying to eat healthy, is to exercise 3 days 3 days out of the week to do at least one day either running and then 2 other days do the high intensity interval training. No hago mucho. It's not super like intense. It's like half hour, but it gets me moving, and I try to do it more during the week. But again, 3 days por lo menos, so that I can just get on with my day, and that's what helps me. That's what helps me relax and gives me energy for all the things that I need to do. But then, if I'm not getting a good night's sleep, then I don't even have the energy to wake up to do that. So, es importante dormir. And another thing, I forgot if I wrote it in that spreadsheet, but another thing that I have is to not look at my screen, whether it's my cell phone or the computer, after 9 p.m. I want to be in bed by then. I want to be reading a book, or I want to be journaling so that I'm not looking at screens. Y ya descanso. And then, I pray and go to sleep, and that's it. That's all I want to be doing at that time. But again, there's days como anoche que no lo hice.
¿Sabes qué, Ceci? When you were here at the house for, you stayed over for the breakthrough brunch, and then Otto asks you, like, so what's your morning routine like, right? And all that stuff. And it's funny how, like, the importance of routines. And I think we were talking about this a couple of months ago with the Guilt-Free Squad, like just the things that we do that are routine that might seem so mundane, but that really improve the quality of our day, like in every aspect. But you were sitting there, you were saying like, pues me despierto a las 5:30, and I was just like, 5:30. Like, that's when I get my best sleep, because I'm finally like, Maura's not waking up. I'm like finally like in a good moment of like sleeping. So you were saying I get up at 5:30 or 5:30. If I'm going to work out, I work out, I do this. And then the girls get up by 6:30. They have their own alarm, and you're going through the routine of like, okay. And then, I'm getting ready for work, and they're, making sure that they're getting ready. So I'm listening to you, and I was like, oh my God, that would be heaven if my kids could do like so many things on their own. Like wake up on their own and do this, and that I could just really have the energy to get up at 5:30 to get up and like, exercise and get ready and then be ready, like, okay, kids, time to go to school. And, like, instead of like, vámonos, hijos de la chingada, ya es hora, ya es hora.
Yo todavía les grito así, no, it's not. Like, yesterday and today, I think I was like calmada, and I was like, oh, no les grité. They were doing the things that they were supposed to. But, estamos en diferentes seasons. Tú estás en otro season con tus niños. So, también, give yourself grace.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, we've got to be okay. But it's funny because I was telling you guys how I was gonna be vulnerable. And like, I've been doing so much research. You guys know that it's like the whole like once I think I have a routine down, something changes with the kids. And once I think I have it down, like being on time for something, like something changes. And it's like, I don't want to make excuses. Like, I've been known for like, oh, Vero just runs late, and I'm like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to do it. And it seems that when I try to be proactive, or when I am proactive, there's always one little thing that holds us back. Oh, we were a minute late instead of 5, and that's okay. We're still within that time frame. But I'm like noticing myself improving. But I'm like so hard on myself, because I'm like, me duele la panza. ¿Me entiendes? It's not like I want it to happen, pero me duele la panza de que, shoot, I failed again. And like, I am my worst critic. So I've been doing like a lot of like research, and I look at for moms that have like multiple kids, and like, how do they do it? How do they do it? Hi, I'm going to cry. Just because it's like so hard,
Thank you for being vulnerable. Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
Fuck yeah. It's seasons,
Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, is it because, am I just unmotivated? Am I just that person? I was telling Ceci también, I was like, maybe I'm depressed and I just don't know. Maybe I need therapy again. And it's like, maybe it's this postpartum thing. So it's just like all these things of it. And I'm like, okay, can I do it? Can I do it? And like, I push myself, and it's just so hard sometimes to do it. And it sucks because we're coaches, we're life coaches, we're career coaches, and we're like, lo puedes lograr. And it's just, it really has to be, so you have to be so dedicated to wanting that success, right? And anyway,
continúa. Like, this is why we do this. This is why we share the story.
Yeah. This is super honest, Vero. My husband felt the same, what you just described, and he went to therapy to figure out why he was feeling this. And this might not be your situation, but he was also feeling like he was go, and that's like a man, right? A different perspective, and trying to do so much and figuring out, why am I always late? And he realized that he had ADHD, and he didn't know until he was an adult. And he was just telling me this morning, Vero, that he was like, dang, how the hell did I get out of college? Like, he looks back on his college life, and he's like, with ADHD and how I am and my habits, he's like, college was so hard for him. And he always like looks back at college as a fun time, a blast. but traumatically difficult for him, and also that lack of motivation. And so he had a time in his life recently, Vero, where he felt the same way. And he was like, this is what I used to feel in college. Like, what is wrong? Like, he also was asking himself. So this might not be your story, Vero, but him going to therapy helped him unlock that, like figure that out, Vero. Nothing was wrong. He also thought those things. Am I depressed? And I'm just putting him on blast. But people go through this stuff, Vero, and they don't talk about it enough. So I wanted to put him on blast and your story. Like, men and women go through stuff, and sometimes we need like a therapist or a coach to unlock like what it is, and it's nothing to feel bad about. Like, we're in this funk for a reason.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And it's like, I've tried different techniques and I'm trying different things. And it just seems like I can't, like, I don't have that breakthrough when it comes to time. It's like, you know what? Everyone's good. Everyone's fine. We're making it. At least we're here. At that point, I'm just like, at least we're here. And we didn't just say, F it, we're done. Like, I'm not taking the kids to school today. So it's not like I'm giving up. It's more of like, okay, well, today we were, 3 minutes late. Today we were 2 minutes late. Today was 1 minute late. Okay, what do we need to do? And it's like little improvements on a daily to try to get, a little something established, because I'm like, I don't want to screw my kids over later. They're like, well, this was what mom used to do. So this is what's normal and this is what's okay. But you have to do what works for you. And right now I'm just like so exhausted. And I think part of that is because I do have a lack of rest, like no duermo bien. And something I shared earlier was that, getting anywhere like, anywhere less than 6 hours of sleep is definitely bad for you. If you're sleep deprived, it affects your brain, it affects the way your brain functions and the way it processes things. It's like, it also puts you at a higher risk for, cardiovascular disease, which Latina women and Black women are the ones that suffer the most. I mean, I shared all that information, and it's like still somehow as Latina women and as, who we are, women of color, we're expected so much from us, like who we are as in the family, who we are in our, in our society, who we are as like in a community. And it's like hard to say, hey, I fucking need help. I need help when it comes to this. Like, what works for you? And what I was saying is that it's funny because what works for everybody else, it seems like everyone's a damn morning person. And I'm like, I'm not a morning person. Yo de a huevo tengo que despertarme temprano because, like the kids now. And it's like, once I'm on, you're kind of just have to be on. It's not like by choice. It's more of like, okay, I'm up. My kids need me. I need to be up. They need me to, get the flow going. And like, how do I do it where I can make it seem effortless, but for them, not for me or for anybody else, but for them, so they can like, have a good morning and be, taken to the, have a great day and establish that. So I'm just like, is there anyone out there that is not really like one of those people that's like, I'm not a morning person, but this is what you can do, and this is how you can make it happen. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's going to have to be me and figure it out and share that. But I'm just at a point where I'm like, híjole, pues, ¿cómo puedo? How can I be so productive or make things happen when I'm like so exhausted? And I think that lack of sleep really affects how we go about our day and the rest and the decisions we make, which later affect the next day and the day after that, right?
Yo iba a decir que I'm not a morning person either. I just kind of make myself, and I know easier said than done. I make myself, I'm a night owl usually. And I like to stay up and watch, whatever stuff on Netflix. But now I'm trying to be disciplined with that and not stay up late. Don't look at my phone after 9, all that, because I want to be able to get up and have the energy to do so. I think for me, so that I wouldn't be running and rushing in the morning on days that, I'm going to exercise and take the girls to school and get myself ready to go to the office, I would have to wake up at 5, but not get distracted with anything else, because even when I'm like, oh, I have all this time and I'm waking up and I'm just like, I always find something that's so hard. Like, I always find something. I'm like, oh, let me put these dishes away. Oh, let me go put in this load. And I can't do that. I need to remind myself that I can't do that. And I think that if I had that extra discipline to not do anything else, I would be okay. But again, I'm not a morning person. I just try to be disciplined in at least during the work week, so that I go to sleep at a certain time. And again, we're in different seasons. Tú tienes niños más chiquitos que, no se acuestan a su hora, or they wake up in the middle of the night. So that's hard. Like, it's, like the topic of this, the case of the importance of sleep. So
I'm the third non-morning person, though. I was saying earlier that Ceci seems like a morning person to me because she gets up and works out. Like, for me, my husband does that, but I have to work out late because I don't get up to work out. I can't imagine doing that. I have to eat well, in order to sleep well, in order to fall asleep well, like we need to do the things we need to do. It sucks because it's often the boring stuff that we need to do, right? Like we need to like do the brain dumps. Our brain's not thinking about everything. We need to like shut off our phones, not look at our screens. We all know what we need to do. And so when we do it better, we're going to sleep better. So for me, I know that like if I work out late, I feel better. Funny enough, I get energy, but I can't fall asleep. If I eat well, I can fall asleep better. Again, because I am a light sleeper, like I'll be up early, but then I take my nap or I sleep in late if I have to. It's the beauty and the luxury of like having a flexible schedule and being able to control time a little better. Like if you need to take rest and breaks and sleep at times that are unorthodox, then you need to do that. Like everybody needs to do that. I suggest that for everybody. Like sometimes even my staff that work at the office, they seem tired. I'm like, go on your break, go to your car, go take a nap, go home. Like that's okay. Like we should have cultures that embrace, if the big tech companies allow it and have like sleeping pods. And I know in Asia, they say it's kind of critical because they just want people to work. So they let them sleep to keep working. I'm not saying that. I'm saying balance and prioritize rest in your life, not so that you can keep grinding, but so that you can function at a better capacity. So there's nothing wrong with rest and breaks and doing you. If you're not a morning person, then so freaking be it. Like embrace it. And Veto's right. Like it sucks to have to wake up and see kids. I remember when my kids were little and I did not want to get up and it was always on me because Diego was the one who worked far away and he drove far as heck. And I'm like, damn, me toca todas las chingas every morning to me. Like, Veto, I was just like you. Like I was like, oh, running late. I looked a hot mess. I probably could walk them to school, but I would drive. People would make fun of me. Like, you drive them like 4 blocks? Like, yes, I fucking drive them 4 blocks because that way they're only 30 seconds late and not 13 minutes late. God damn you. That's life. Like, yeah. Like I'm not gonna be the person that walks. And there was this thing called walking school bus where they would walk them for me once a week. I love those days. I would just throw the kids out the door. Some other mom walked them to school every Wednesday. There's no shame in that. Did I go back and possibly lay down and sleep for another hour? Yes. Like
I hope you did.
Ladies, do you. Like do you. And you can still be high power, and you can still be go, and you can still be high energy. Like find your rest and find your rhythm like the way that you need to for your own life. And sometimes you don't have it and you don't have to feel bad about not having it. Like it happens.
You know what? Speaking of drop-offs, I always get off, because I like the morning prayer and that kind of starts my day, and I like to chit chat with the moms sometimes. And today I told the girls, I'm tired. I'm just going to drop you guys off. You guys are going to do the drop off. Like, no, mommy. And I'm like, but then when I got there, I was like, oh my God, so surprisingly, we got there at 10 minutes before school started. Like, so we were there. I'm like, oh my God, llegamos bien temprano. And I'm glad I stayed because, the prayer was a little longer and I was like, okay, this is good. And then at the end of it, like I was chit-chatting with some of the moms and, one of the moms was sharing, what she's going through. Like she has 3 kids. One of them, she's starting to apply for high school and like the stress. And so it was a good little community. So that's another thing like that I look forward to, kind of like the check-ins with the moms and like what each of us are going through. And it's just a good start to your day. So I don't know si has hecho amistad con las mamás tú, Vero. En la escuela.
Me la saludo. Yeah, there's a few moms that I talked to. One of the moms sent me pictures today of the mariachi. They have a mariachi for the kids today to close out, Hispanic or Latino Heritage Month.
Oh, and that's cool.
It was really cool. But they had sent, I was like, when did they send the notice? The vice principal is the one who welcomes them in the morning. Usually used to be the principal. Now the vice principal is the one, assistant principal. They don't call it vice principal anymore. The assistant principal's there. And she's like, are you coming back for the show? And I was like, what show? And they send us so many messages. I mean, I see memes now of like the messages que mandan in the apps, and like it got lost. In one of the messages se perdió de que, come celebrate with us the closing of Hispanic Heritage Month. So I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it starts right now at 8:30. And usually by 8:30, I'm taking Fidel to his school. And then by the time I come back across the city, it's like 9, So I was like, I'm going to miss the show. And I felt so bad. But one of the moms was like, I noticed you weren't here and your husband wasn't, because we like to go to those things. They're like, I noticed you weren't here. Tampoco tu esposo. Here are some pictures of the girls and they're wearing all their, like, Galilea today wore her Guatemala dress. She's like, I'm going to wear my vestido de Guatemala because it's still part of, my cultura. And I was like, okay, wear your Guatemala dress. And I was like, I'm going to hit up Ceci, see if she has any dresses que no le queden ya a las niñas, que me las mande, que le queden tal vez a Gali, si no pues a Maura, because I haven't bought them any recent dresses que le queden. that are like Mexican or show that, you know, their cultures. Anyway, the moms like
Ahí te los
sending
paso.
me pictures.
Te los voy
Ahí me los
pasando.
pasas. But they're sending me pictures like, we noticed you guys were in here, so I'll make sure to send them. Whenever I notice you're not here, I'll send them to you. But usually I'm there for those things, and it just kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, we're talking about let's take care of ourselves. Let's establish, you know, routines that really help us make it through the day and not feel tired and burnt out. And sleep is so important that let's try to do one thing better before, you know, at night to get us ready, or throughout the day to get us ready for that night time routine. So I know I have like an out of whack nighttime routine. I just wash my face, brush my teeth, y me voy a la cama. Like no big deal, but it's, I don't know, me pongo cremas, no me that. So, Ceci and Irene, do you have a set nighttime routine? Because I know that nighttime routines really help kind of put that, you know, get the ball rolling into winding down to get yourself ready for bed. Is there something that is within that routine that you do that you want to, you know, share that helps with you?
I have something in my routine that I probably shouldn't be doing because it goes against what I'm trying to do. So I wash my face, I wash my face, and then I also, in the restroom, and I also brush my teeth. But while I'm brushing my teeth, I'm like looking at my phone, brushing my teeth. I'm like, okay, ¿qué me perdí? Like, what do I need to catch up on? Okay, let me open WhatsApp. Okay, what's going on? Let me go on Instagram. Okay, anything that I miss? Like, I'm doing that, and it's the nighttime routine. Like, maybe I should not be doing that on my phone, because then veo algo and I'm like, oh my god, like ayer I had done that, and yesterday I told Luis, I'm like, oh my god, look at you like this guy, Trevor Noah. I'm like, he's gonna perform. You should go. So again, I should not be doing that. But yeah, I like brush my teeth, wash my face, wipe my face with a cotton thing and toner, and then si no me da flojera, then I go into my little closet in my little mini fridge. Y ahí tengo mis cremas, and so I pongo cremas aquí underneath my eye, and then just all over my face, like a moisturizer, and that's it for the most part. I try to do that every day. A veces me da flojera and I don't, but I try to do that. I try to at least wash my face and then la crema if I have energy, and then just come to bed and do my reading.
Bedtime routine usually involves time with the kids because they absolutely love it still. They love snuggling with me, laying in bed with me. So this after, I like to shower because I think it's the only time I will actually clean my face properly. And I put my little L'Oreal cremas on. I get this night cream that I'm using right now that I love. But other than that, I'm laying with my kids. That's my night routine. They like to lay in the bed with me until Dale kicks them out, or we like to lay on the couch together. So yesterday, Sophie and I watched the Taylor Swift movie, and that made me properly sleepy. But yeah, other than that, the other thing the kids love to do is walks. Isaiah and Noah. Isaiah's so busy. He just has to walk the dog. I don't know that he loves it. But Noah loves to go on family walks late at night. So that here and there is our family routine. Funny story, 2 days ago, we were going to do that after my coaching client. We're like, let's go walk at the beach. We're going to go walk at the beach today. We're going to do that. We're all high. Everybody gets ready. Tell me why we ended up at Boba. And then next door, Boba, there was Mediterranean chicken. Everybody grubbed. Everybody had a second dinner that day.
I love it.
What the hell just happened? $100 later. We were supposed to be that family that walks on the beach. Instead, everybody picked out. And I was being I'm not going to have boba. Nobody ever finishes it. They all finished their boba. I was like, cool. I didn't want a boba any damn way. Then Isaiah was like, for real though, I really could have some of that chicken maison next door. I'm like, let me take him. And Diego was like, really? We all just ate. Diego was the first one, was like,
girl,
it's pasta, Sophie. I'll share it with you.
Chicken maison though.
Funny.
Chicken maison is the
so
bomb.
Damn good, Vero. Have you ever had the spicy freaking pasta? Yo no comí because I wasn't hungry, but they had leftovers. I grubbed yesterday. I had the leftovers. Anyway, my night routine is not supposed to be going to get boba at 9 o'clock at night. But sometimes you do what you got to do.
I
It's
like
just being
that.
with the kids chilling. Me too. I like when we can get up and go and do fun adventures with the family, because that's the time that we laugh and we didn't mean to do that. We had already had a family dinner. It was chicken noodle soup, but that was so early that they probably hungry again. We had chicken noodle
Mom, can you give us some real chicken though, not just noodle
I
soup?
know. My kids love that soup though, pero les encanta. We made a tub of it y se lo terminaron. They love chicken noodle soup, but everybody was just hungry again. I didn't get a lot of it, but
Yeah.
my night routine's a weird one. It's not consistent other than hanging with the kids, showering until I make sure to wash my freaking face. We all brush our teeth because I want the little ones to make sure that they do. I know it's good, actually. And that's it. And my husband, all of us trying to tell my husband not to go to sleep because he's got we were talking about it earlier. My husband, if you let him, his bedtime is 6:15. If you let him,
Oh yeah. We were talking about that off this. I'm Our husbands will just be like, good night. I'm like, wait, there's kids. There's all this stuff that has to get done. No, ellos saben, buenas noches, yo me voy a cuidar. No voy a tener cardiovascular disease.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Diego yesterday, 7:58. He was tucking himself in with a book.
I love it.
Me and Sophie were making mad fun of him. Like, you cannot go to bed. It is 7:58. We're going to make fun of you. We're never going to let you live this down. But anyway, he was trying to. But we just harassed him for like an hour, and he didn't go to bed till 9, I think.
You guys are evil. Evil.
You know what I forgot to add? I also cuddle with Portos before he goes to bed. Because I usually, during the week, I'm the one that puts him to bed. Luis puts the girls to bed. So I cuddle with him before I wash my face and all that. And then I put him to sleep. Lo saco que haga pipí. Y ya, se duerme. And I'm like, buenas noches, Portos. Le doy su Gumby. He has like a Gumby toy.
Aww.
Le doy su Gumby. And Luis is like, ay, como si fuera un humano. I'm like, what? He likes it. He's like, he likes it. I'm like, well, he accepts it. Me lo acepta, you know? So,
Así que
that's part of
cállate. Así que cállate, viejo. You know? The nighttime routine starts with the kids. PJs, brush teeth, go to the bed. And sometimes it just takes too long. So I'm like, hey, no book tonight, you know? And that starts my process. And like, at least Otto now gets home around 6. So at 6 o'clock, like he'll come in, kicks it with the kids for a little bit, kind of gets himself ready for the next day. And then he'll start like, okay, yeah, like the alarm rings at 8, you know, yeah, pijamas, let's turn off, you know, all screens turn off at 8. And then if they're watching movies, pues, if the TV's on, then, okay, 8 o'clock, the alarm goes off. Okay, ya es hora de apagar las teles. All right, kids, you know, start putting on your PJs. And that takes like 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour, and then all of that. But that kicks off my routine. So I'm like, if Otto's taking care of that, then I'm like, voy a recoger la cocina. And I like start picking up the kitchen. But then I'm putting Maura down. So he's taking care of those kids. I'm like putting Maura down and trying to like clean up the kitchen so that by like 8:45, if they're still up, then I can go in there and like, okay, let me read them a book. And sometimes they push it and they, you know, no se quieren acostar, or they're just like, no se quieren cepillar los dientes, and like they're chasing each other around the house. So I'm just like, you know what? If they're running around the house, que se cansen, que corran y griten, que se cansen. But then I'm like, then they wake up Maura, because Maura at 8 o'clock, también 8:15, she's ready, like in bed, and she knocks out with her little pachita, you know, like she's ready. So, oh my God, I just said pachita instead of biberón.
That's what I thought. I was like, ya se le pegó, ahora sí.
Ah, llévate mala.
You're just getting started. That's exactly my life.
Yeah.
Welcome to my mama world.
No lo botes en vez de no lo tires. Ay, Dios santo, cuídame Dios. But, yeah, so I mean, that routine starts there. And then by the time they're in bed, like, I'm exhausted. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to wash my face. I don't want to lay down and fall asleep. Pero no me animo. So I'm going for it. I'm going to promise myself to just be like, hey, if I'm exhausted, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to bust the Diego at 7:58. I'm going to bust the Otto like at 9 o'clock. He's in bed. And the Luis of like, ay, tú te encargas del Portos y yo me voy a dormir. So I'm going to turn it around and be like, okay, it's time for rest. Let's make sure that we get the rest that we need to be able to function fully as the moms, the daughters, the hermanas, you know, the cousins, the todas, the bosses that we are. So, so anything else you guys want to add before we go today? Aparte de esto.
No, I think we said it all twice.
I know.
I know.
I'm excited you can hear what we said before.
I know.
It was so good.
We talked like a whole hour about it.
I loved how we had also touched on like el nada, you know, the doing nothing. Irene's like, oh, you know, I programmed the nothing. And I was like, well, what does that really mean, the nothing? Are you watching TV? No, it's like, 'cause sometimes we need to give our brains a break too.
I can expand just a little bit for the tip of the day since we didn't add it in yet. Like,
there you go.
It's so important to plan to do nothing. That is so important. You need part of your day or part of your week where you have time that is not just the rat race and going from one commitment to another. I hope we talked about it and haven't caught it, so we're going to repeat it. That's not joyous. Like, that doesn't fill your life if you're just running from one commitment to another, one accomplishment to another. Like, it's the small dead times, like all the little things we said with our kids, the snuggle with the dogs, the TV with the child, like that you need, but also time for just you. Plot time for just you to do something selfish. Read your book, go shopping, go window shopping, go regular shopping, sit outside, sit in nature, go for a run, go for a swim, like whatever works for your life. Walk on the beach. Actually make it for that walk on the beach. Like, set up time to do nothing. Even though you might be doing something, it's like a nothing because it's just time for you. It's selfish. It's quiet. I like to sit on my lawn. I'll get a towel. I'll hang out there. I was just saying how like that's why we pay expensive California mortgages so that we can have big, beautiful yards. Well, enjoy your yard. Enjoy your neighborhood. Enjoy the snow if you're in the snow. Enjoy the sun if you're in the sun. Like, do nothing. Just sit in nature, sit in quiet, sit in darkness, lay in bed if you want that, but put it on your calendar, treat it like an appointment. Do that for yourself. That's the tip of the day. Treat time for yourself that you were resting and recovering. We called it rest and recovery. Plot it on your calendar and do it. Everybody needs it.
Amen to that. Thank you for checking in today for this podcast. I mean, I'm sure there were so many great nuggets that we dropped in the first half that I thought we were recording, and then we still shared some good stuff at the end. But if you are a mujer that is not getting enough sleep, please get your sleep. Get more than 6 hours of sleep. We do not want to have that high risk of stroke. Cuídense su corazoncito, cuídense su mente. So get your sleep, put it in, schedule it in to get that rest. And if today's podcast hit or struck a nerve with you or it resonated with you, please hit us up. Let's keep this conversation going. If there's something about any tips you have on how to sleep better, mándalos our way. You can always find us at leveluplatina.com, and you can learn about who we are, what we do, all our coaching. You can find out about our amazing guilt-free squad. We talked a little bit about our brunch this weekend, how it was so hot, and how Irene avoided being tired and having a headache for this event, and how it was a great outcome. But if you want to learn about the guilt-free squad and learn about us, go to leveluplatina.com. You can also send us an email to admin@leveluplatina. admin@leveluplatina.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Level Up Latina. And other than that, hit up our affiliates. You can find those on our webpage as well. And we would appreciate all of you. If you like our podcast, love our podcast, give it a review, drop it some reviews, give it some beautiful stars on whatever platform you listen to us on, and share it with a comadre, your friend or your homegirl. Dile, hey, you might want to check this out. So outside of that, thank you for tuning in with us today. Les mandamos un abrazo a todos. And don't forget to
level up.
Level up. All right, I'm glad I remembered you to do that without an echo. So thank you, and we'll
Did
talk
it
to you
mess you
guys
up
later.
completely? Oh, we're so
It threw me
funny.
off a little bit. It threw me
Okay,
off.
so
Los queremos. Bye.
Bye.